everyone, this is Persephone, and today I'm starting a new playlist. It's going to be Dystopian Chronicles or something like that, Tales of Dystopia. I haven't decided how I'm going to name it yet. Because I came to the realization that I'm talking shit on the internet for years, and most people who now find my channel, because I'm very happy that I'm getting a lot of new subscribers, thank you for that, they have no idea what I'm talking about. So we have to start from somewhere, and I believe we are already in a dystopia. The things that you see on Black Mirror and other futuristic films are already happening, just not the exact ways those films show it. So we need to understand some things and protect ourselves and take matters to our own hands. And this playlist is going to be something like Findom basics, but dystopia basics, how to navigate in our world as it is right now. I'm a person that I do not abide to one political philosophy, I do not abide to one religion, there is not one government that I'm going to blame, and I think that those things happen to a bigger or a smaller scale no matter where you are in the world. So you're going to get something from this video regardless. The general principles that rule the planet, I think whoever is ruling us, I'm keeping it politically vague on purpose, they decide all of those things and they know about it, so you're most likely a victim no matter where you are watching me from. And today we're going to talk about the depopulation plan. This is something that I haven't read anywhere. It's something that I came up with myself by observing what's happening to me, to those around me, to every other person I know all over the world. And I'm going to share it with you today to start the discussion. So to give the theory like condensed, I believe that we have overpopulation on this planet. And again, whoever is in charge, the government of each country has unofficially decided that we don't need that many people. In the past, world wars like World War I, World War II cleared up a lot of people, so we didn't have that much of a problem. But now that this type of war doesn't happen, and if it happens, humanity is going to be extinct, we have to find other ways to get rid of the excessive population. Because I don't know if you know it, if you have watched The Matrix, probably you remember it, humans don't behave like mammals. They behave like viruses. They go to a place and take and take and take until the place, aka the host, is destroyed, and then they move to the next one. And because the people in charge have observed that, and human nature, I don't know if they want to change it or if it can be changed, they realize that we can't have too many parasites on the same host. So some people have to go. Same time, because we pretend we have human rights, I still think that human rights are a thing that can be bent. Like, if they don't want you here, your human rights are not going to matter one way or another. But because we have human rights and because political correctness is the most important thing in the world right now, and fakeness, we can't just go out and start shootings and get rid of the excessive people. So it has to happen in more indirect ways. The next question is, are you one of those people who are unwanted or the world could do without them? In general, people who are non-white are like very low priority in the list, in the sense of they are unwanted, to put it plainly. That's not from me, I'm not the racist, I have nothing against non-white people, but this is again what I observe. People who are non-white, people who are from sewer third world countries, also they don't want them. People who are born quote-unquote weird or different, like autistic, people who have been abused, or people who have been born impoverished, people who have been born in any kind of disadvantage. Okay, but same time, people in populations that they are very, very competitive. Those pretty much there is an unspoken agreement that they have to go. And now we're going to move to the next part of how does God take you early to the grave? One way is controlling the population with misinformation and feeding you bullshit. And it's really shocking to me that we have gotten to a point where people are so indoctrinated to blindly believe medicine, to blindly believe whatever they read, whatever they watch on the news, and not their own eyes, ears, bodies, and so on. And no, I didn't become my Gollum mother-in-law saying psychiatry doesn't exist. Of course it exists. I'm going to explain to you what I say with examples. One of the things that works very much against you is many Western principles that supposedly this is what you should be doing, aka the life script, to put it simply. The life script says you need to be white, mid-30s, have 1.8 kids, have a good job, go to college, all of that crap. Whoever cannot do that is considered a failure, and they have a lot of practical difficulties, financial difficulties, they get ostracized from the system. So from the moment you are born, Everyone around you is saying that you need to follow the life script. The life script is a very big part of the depopulation plan. It's like something that has contaminated every area of our lives. And essentially, it's bound to kill you prematurely. Think about it with me. How are the people who are around you, who are struggling very, very hard to be part of the life script? The person who works in a cubicle all day. It gets up at 5 a.m., it gets into the car, 2 hours in traffic, 9 hours at work, another 1 hour in traffic, goes in the house, no time to cook, no time to clean, takes some junk food to eat or some frozen food, zones out in front of the TV or in front of Pornhub, and again the next day. On weekends, the life script says you need to associate with other cash cows, you need to drink, you need to socialize, you need to do more nonsense, cuts on sleep and laundry, and then again. All of this is an extremely unnatural lifestyle. There are people like myself who are naturally nocturnal. It's extremely hard for me to stay up during the day and not stay up during the night. I've been like that ever since I was born. Those people, they are bound to die prematurely if they stay on the life script. There are people who are gay, asexual, demisexual, poly, and they just don't want to be married and have kids. Those people are also having insane pressure being put on them on a life script. There are people who, for whatever reason, don't want kids, antinatalists, child-free. Same thing. Every time you you don't abide with the life script, if you observe it, you are being punished very, very harshly. All of this creates constant long-term stress. If you come from an abusive family as a kid, I'm going to explain another semi-conspiracy theory now. There are doctors who accept it, there are doctors who don't accept it. Your adrenaline glands produce adrenaline, which is something that plays a crucial part on fight or flight response. So you need adrenaline every time you're in danger. This is something that exists ever since prehistoric times and it protects us, but it's not supposed to be used for long periods of time, and it's not supposed to be used when you're a kid. When you're a kid, you cannot have constant adrenaline in your bloodstream because, first of all, your glands are not developed yet, and you are not mentally and emotionally prepared to actually deal with it. So when you come from abusive families or backgrounds and your adrenaline is being secreted all the time, at some point your adrenaline glands get exhausted and they never develop properly. And as a result, you are an adult that has either adrenaline exhaustion or excessive adrenaline, like they don't produce anything, you're lethargic, you're depressive, you can't do anything, and then you have a wave of adrenaline. And all of a sudden you are, I'm not going to say hypermanic, you're not necessarily borderline or bipolar, but it's an extreme imbalance for you and puts constant stress on you. For people like that, and so many people are being abused, do you know what the life script does to help them? Absolutely nothing. Even my ex, who is a shrink, said that those people, we pretend we help them with drugs, but in reality we cannot help them. So what happens is that you're living life so fast without questioning any of your beliefs, without questioning any of your habits. Even if you do question them, there is no one to help you, no one to protect you, and you suffer, and soon you start to develop those illnesses that are the result of Western way of life. What the fuck is Western way of life? And it's not only the West, it's the life script, it's a depopulation plan that starts to take a toll on you. To add to all of that, we have reached the point where people cannot make the connection of eating shit and feeling like shit. And I say that because, again, I'm going to use myself as an example. I always enjoyed eating 1 or 2 meals per day, ever since I was a kid. I never liked the thing of multiple meals. And there were people abusing me so much to eat every 3 hours, although it made me physically ill, although it made me exhausted, although I couldn't get anything done because I had to prepare the 6 meals. There was this huge propaganda that, oh, you eat a lot of meals, your metabolism works faster. I was doing intermittent fasting ever since I was 5 and I didn't have allergies. And then this thing came that, oh my God, you need a lot of carbs, you need to drink milk, you need this, you need that. I believe one of the worst things that you can do to yourself is constantly eat carbs. I believe the majority of calories should be from protein and from fat. That's another very big conversation, but if you see what the depopulation plan is feeding us, there are all things who make you lethargic, addictive, and destructive. I mean, everywhere you see articles that say sugar is bad for you, sugar is causing cancer, it's causing diabetes, it's causing obesity, it's causing heart disease. Why do they add sugar and everything? Do you know how hard it is to try eating without sugar for a day? It's a military operation to find all of the products without sugar. That's another part of the depopulation plan. Being fat, having artificially created diseases. And I'm not even touching things like, oh my God, was like AIDS man-made or were other viruses man-made. They don't even need that at this point. You are going to be mid-30s, late 30s, you're going to be fat, lethargic, broke because you have so many debts. You went to college, you signed up for debts. You're going to have some like land whale wives, you won't cook, you won't clean, you won't do anything. You're going to have some brats who are going to grow up to put you into the cheapest possible senior home, and then your life ends before you need any pension. And that's in the good countries. In the bad countries, one way or another, some magical catastrophe happens and you just disappear. And I say magical catastrophe because you don't even have to be a politician or a scientist, and you see everywhere systems that they would have prevented serious disaster and serious abuse and death, and no one is enforcing them. I'm going to use my ex Kim as an example. Kim's teachers, because Kim used to be in special ed for behavioral reasons, for emotional disturbance, his teachers who have been writing for 12 years that the child needs to see a psychologist ASAP, it needs help. And his mother, she never complied. There was even one teacher who wrote that Mrs. Kim agrees, but only verbally, like she never follows through, and CPS wasn't called. And as a result, Kim is the way he is. I'm going to ask you, why wasn't Kim called? Maybe because some Asian weird-ass kid from some super ghetto parents living in the Korean ghetto, no one would care if that kid was gone. And I'm asking, maybe there is a pattern in all of this. Maybe you are one of those people that no one would care. I was one of those people that no one would care. I'm trying to not reveal my location, but I'm going to tell you that here, if you say women's shelter, people are going to be laughing. If you say call the police, people are going to be laughing. Nothing actual is going to take place to protect you. So what do you do when you are on the depopulation plan? You're going to say, Persephone, what do you suggest? That we quit our jobs and you go live in the forest and start our own communities? No, I'm not necessarily suggesting that. Although I believe eventually there is going to be some kind of zombie apocalypse, and whoever survives will survive with those ways. But before that, and I don't want to make this video 40 minutes of me rambling, before that, the first step is mindfulness. Something that lots of people don't have because no one allowed them to develop it. By mindfulness, I mean examine your beliefs. The things that you believe, do you really want them? Are they really you? Or is it something that you got brainwashed into thinking that you need and it's ruining your life and you don't need? My belief that you have to be married to be successful has wasted 1/3 of my life. If I add all of those hours that I wasted obsessing over relationships, fighting with guys, breaking up with guys, marrying guys, dating guys, I would have been so much more far ahead in my life. And if you ask me now if you could turn back time, I would tell you I wouldn't get married and I wouldn't go to any college. And there have been cash cows who blamed me and said you talk shit about education. Not at all. I believe there are colleges who are very important, like medical doctor, engineer, programmer. You should go to those colleges if you want that degree. But if you don't need that, and if you are, let's say, an artist, or if you want to speak multiple languages, or if you want to start your own business, there is not even one thing that college taught me about how to make money. So much waste of time. So I was doing things because I was a life scripter, forced into the life script, not because I wanted them. If you realize that you don't really want to go to college and you just go because everyone else is going, the life script is going to punish you, but it cannot kill you. So there are going to be lots of people probably from your circle that they're not going to like you. And they're going to be mad. I believe that people essentially are very egocentric, and I don't say this in a bad way, but they're going to rant, they're going to talk shit, they're going to like block your messenger like my father does. Eventually they're going to get over it. Life goes on. And if life doesn't go on for them, you're going to find new friends. You're going to create your own family. You're not going to be a slave though. So if you survive the original punishment and the initial insane reactions, you're going to be fine. In a similar way, examine your body. There are things that I eat them and I'm ill every time. Milk is one of them. And I don't have lactose intolerance. I've been tested, but it still makes me feel bad. I'm not going to drink it. I don't care whatever people say that it's good for you. If I drink something or if I eat something and it makes me feel sick, I'm not going to do it. Again, I'm being punished. I'm being like, this is not an eating disorder. I had an eating disorder. I'm still recovering from it, but this is not part of it because I can drink, let's say, almond milk. Cow milk makes me ill. So I don't care if people say it's good for you. I tried it, it's not good for me. In a similar way, one other thing that I do is I eat when I'm hungry and I eat as much food that I need and I leave the rest. Leave doesn't mean throw away. Usually I cook something and it can be like in smaller portions and it can last 1 or 2 days, or you can just cook a smaller amount. But I'm not going to do the empty your plate because there are starving kids, or don't eat after 8. There are many times that I eat at midnight or I eat at 3 a.m. when I have to upload videos or I have to do something and I'm hungry. And this is something that when I had an eating disorder, I used to think, oh my god, it's 3 a.m., I'm not going to eat, I'm going to get fat, because I was told that if you eat at 3 a.m. you get fat. I never got fat by eating at 3 a.m. I was getting fatter easily though when I was full-blown anorexic because I was under so much stress, and stress blocks your metabolism. So you don't have to eat pizzas at 3 a.m. You can eat something healthier, or if you want pizza that much, eat only one slice, or make your own. There are so many solutions. But people get amazed and they say, how do you live like a crazy person? So doing my own choices based on what's good for my body or what's good for my mental health is considered a crazy person. And the people who think that all of us are the same and all of us need to get married, all of us need to have kids, all of us need to go to college, those are not crazy. If I come to you and I say, you know, I found a diet that is going to make everyone super skinny, aren't you going to laugh at me? You're going to say, every person is different. You can't have the same diet for a kid, like an old person, a pregnant person, and expect them all to lose weight. You're just stupid. But when someone comes and tells us we have one life script and it works for everyone, we actually follow it. And there are so many people who say to me, you're just a creep, get a normal job, do this, do that. If only I could find jobs easily, that I could just work at night and I would be sleeping during the day. Even then, even with those jobs that there are so few and far in between, there is huge stigma. People still consider you a creep. And there was a time when I had a normal job that was probably my most awesome job. Sorry for not saying too much out of fear of doxing because there are other people involved. Still the normies, even when the job wasn't whoring, wasn't being an internet personality, was very vanilla, even then they would say, why don't you want to be awake during the day? Why don't you want to be like us? In a sense, that was a very good sit test, because I sit test people ever since the very beginning. That's why I'm always like, hi, I'm Persephone, I have autism, so that people who cannot handle autism, they can show themselves out very early on. And I understand that you don't have to be this extreme, not everyone can be this extreme, but being a life scripter is going to actually send you to an early grave. I've seen this over and over and over, and they sell us this Disney belief that once you get out of college, life is going to be easier. I saw this progressive pressure and deterioration. When I was in high school, there was huge pressure to get in college, and everyone told me you're going to go to college and your life is going to be better. And I went to college and my life was much worse. I have a lot more classes, I was living by myself, I had a lot more responsibility, I had a lot more enemies and haters. Then they told me, once you graduate college and get married, you're going to have a happily ever after. And I graduated and I got married to a doctor that is supposedly a huge success in most, if not all, cultures. And I reached the lowest point of my life of buying clothes to wear because I didn't have time to wash them. And I had to buy new clothes to not stink around. So that was also a lie. And when I said go to hell, all of you, that's when actual life did start to get better. Of course, with a huge price that every day I get death threats for the internet, stuff that I post, every day I get hate, every day I get all of the zombies and the cash cows and the Veras saying that you're wrong. But you know something, at the end of the day, when we are going to be 80 or 90, hopefully in our deathbeds, I don't know anyone who's going to be saying like, holy shit, I was a good boy and I followed everything that I have been told, and I worked the same job for 50 years. Like, yeah, those were heroic times. And then I was with the same woman for 50 years, and she was nagging from morning till night until she gave me cancer. I was also broke because the office job didn't go well. But when I was like on my deathbed in the senior home where my kids dumped me because they hate me, I looked back and they said no regrets. No one says that. If you look, what are the biggest regrets of dying people, it's going to be, why was I such a good boy, or why was I such a good girl, and I didn't even give my dreams a chance. And that really makes you thinking, you know. So I don't know if on my deathbed, or if I join the singularity and I become a cyborg, I won't have a deathbed. But when, I don't know, when I have some difficulty in the near-death experience, again, because I had near-death experiences in the past, I don't know if I'm going to be saying I regret. But it's better to regret my own mistake and my own choice than to be a human drone and regret things that other people programmed me to do without even thinking. At least that's how I think. That's up to you what you're going to do with your lives. Hopefully this video makes you think, but the depopulation plan is very, very real. So before you get any information as definitely true, definitely for granted, please examine it, because there is a pretty high chance that it's meant to give you cancer, to give you Alzheimer's, to make you broke, and so on. Thank you for watching.